Hi, welcome to a new video. Today's video is all about my thought process when I'm taking woodland images. The weather here in Belgium has been quite bad the last few weeks, so I didn't went out at all because of the wind. It's pretty dangerous. So I was looking through these old books I've made a while ago, and I was thinking, why did I take these images, or why do I like these images that are in these books? And I thought to myself, why not make a video about it and tell you guys what I'm looking for in the woodlands. So I've, like, if you can see, I've put some color tabs on here. I've made 3 categories. One is about structures, one is about contrast, and the other one is about telling a story with your pictures. I will change the camera angle in a bit, and I will go through these pictures in the books and also some prints here to explain what I actually mean. So first of all, I'm gonna talk to you about, I think, about the stories I try to tell in these images. So, here are a few of my prints and books that I've made through the years. One is from last year, the one here on the side. This one is from a year or 2 ago. Since I've made these books, my editing style has changed quite a bit, but it still gives you kind of an insight what I was thinking or why I took these pictures. The first one here, I took it around the time that Stranger Things came out, and I thought, like, the Demogorgon, or what's it called, the beast from the place below. This one made me think about it because you have this one tree on the side. It is a lone tree. It stands alone, and it's juxtaposed with this denser forest. And the trees they have this parasite. There's a parasite that gets into the branches of the trees, and it can maretak, we call it in Dutch. It kills the trees if it's a parasite, so after a while the tree will become ill and it will die. So it's kind of this battle between life and death, the right and wrong. That was the thought process behind this shot. This shot is kind of similar. It's like this young tree amongst a forest of bigger pine trees. I called this the young one. And I'm actually, if you can give your images names, for me at least, it's because the image is telling a story. This shot is not possible anymore. This isn't either, because this one has become way bigger, and all the small saplings in the foreground have grown bigger as well, and this branch was blown off last week. So take the shot while you can. Don't try to wait on it for the perfect conditions, because maybe it will be too late. Let's see. This picture as well is kind of the same theme again, between life and death. You have the Spulderbos in Gelderland, in Holland. You have this nice pathway with trees on both sides, but they're also cut down trees. So it's again like a struggle between living trees and the trees that have been taken down. Then there is a last shot I want to talk about. This is one of the images I'm most proud of. It's called The Guardians. So there is a forest here in Belgium on top of a hill, and it's full of ancient trees, and it has burned down a few years ago. So this patch of trees, they are still standing, although there is a lot of wind there, there's always a lot of snow, but they just keep standing. When I went there, I found this composition, and this is actually one tree that's broken in half. but it looks like kind of monsters or dragons or whatever you want to call it, and they are like guarding the trees in the back. So this one is one I'm really proud of. I only have been once there. The time I went there, I tore my pants really badly. But in my opinion, you have to tell a story with your pictures. Doesn't always have to be really deep. Images without a story won't activate any interest in the crowd that you want to please. So that's a little bit about storytelling. The next thing I want to talk about is structures. So what do I mean with structures? These are actually the compositional tools you can use to make a shot interesting. You can't always rely on one interesting subject. Woodland photography, I wouldn't choose one tree to take a picture of, except if it's on like a really special place or something. But usually I try to look for more than that. Like, for instance, you have this really big, nice beech tree. It has grown with 4 other trees to become one tree. It's a really nice tree, but if I would have taken this picture like this, like a 2x3 crop, it wouldn't be that interesting. Now it serves as an anchor for the image. And what I really liked about this one, you have this pathway leading you into the forest. So your eye will be drawn to the background and will come back as well. So you have more than just one tree you're photographing. So you have the leading line, you have like the balance between the heavy corner here and the heavy corner here. So these structures are quite important when you are taking these pictures. Here the same, almost the same picture. You have this pathway leading you through it. Also important is maybe a diagonal between light and dark. These structures make it easier for your audience to understand the story you're trying to tell. Let's see the next one. Here again you have the leading line of the creek leading you into the main subject. And then you have the light rays also pointing to the subject tree. I find it pretty hard to find these leading lines in woodland photography. In landscape photography it's a bit easier in my opinion. But branches pointing to something, light rays pointing to something, a road or a creek are pretty good leading lines when taking these woodland shots. This one, again, you have this fence leading you through here. Then you have another layer going to here. And this is going to your main subject. Also the branches on this tree are pointing, all are pointing to this big tree that is also my subject in this one. This one is a tricky one for me. I found this a few years ago. You have one subject here, one subject here. In my opinion, it's not enough going on here. The heather wasn't really blooming at that time. A few weeks later it was. But what I really like about this image is the small tree that's between this triangle of this tree. There's another thing I look for are geometric figures like a triangle, trapezium. These are things that make it easier for your audience to see it. Then you also have like framing. That's a big one in woodland, because when you go to a forest there will be a lot of trees and there will be a lot going on. So framing your main subject is something I always look for, because it puts the main character that you want to photograph, like for instance this tree, right in the picture. You have these small saplings at the bottom and you have the difference with the background. So this tree becomes an easy focal point for your viewer to see. Maybe one more. Let's see. Here it's the same. You have the leading line of the stairs. It's almost like the Fibonacci rule, the golden rule. You go in and you end up right in the center where the waterfalls are. I also tried to frame it with these trees that it frames like the waterfall really good. You have the bridge here that frames it. It's right in the middle, so really easy to understand. So that leaves me only with the last one, and that's talking about contrast. So when you hear people talking about contrast, it usually is about light and dark. Like in this image, there is a pretty high contrast between the light rays coming through these dark trees. But in my opinion, that's not the only contrast you should look for when you're out in the field. Light is one of the biggest key parts, but I think contrast in color, contrast in distance between your foreground and background are really important too. Like for instance, here you have a contrast between the frozen part with the snow, but still with the green part. Also the colors are contrasting very nicely. I like to get green and orange in one shot if it's possible, or blue and orange, because they really connect really well. White and black are, I think, the most contrasting two colors you can get. So when it's snowing, it's pretty easy to find these contrasts. Also, the contrast between what you're shooting, like these are, I think, really old oak trees, and then you have in the back these pine trees. It's also a contrast. It makes it easier to tell your story that you are trying to tell. So look for these things. Let's see, another yellow tab. Here again, it's pretty easy to see that the contrast is with the light that's coming from the right hand side into the shot, hitting this beech tree that hasn't lost all of its leaves yet. But again, here you have pine trees, you have this beautiful orange beech tree, you have the contrast between the colors. This one the same. This one is also one of my favorite pictures I've ever took. So you have this beech tree, it's on a mountaintop or hillside. We don't have mountaintops here in Belgium, but it's on a hillside, and the sun was hitting this part, the trees on this side, which make it really contrasty with the background. It was another hill, this is a valley going through here. So the background was really bluish in contrast with the orange. But also I tried to not make it too dark, the background, or too light, so you still could see these pine trees in the back contrasting with the beech trees on this side. It's like kind of a war that was going on. Light and dark, and you don't always have to put everything in like perfect lighting conditions, in my opinion. Sometimes it's good to let things over to the imagination of your viewer. You can see some details, but the thing I wanted here in the shot was the fog, the low lingering fog, and the sky. So silhouetting a tree against the sun, it's never a bad idea, but you should do it with intent. This one is another one that I took in the Speelderbos. Again, contrast, light, dark. You have contrasting colors. You have blue with orange, green with yellow. So look for these things. Contrast in the different trees. You have the large tree, you have a birch here, and in the back you have a beech tree. Makes it a lot more interesting for your viewer. Again, light, dark, you get the picture. Then I have one more. It's a print I made 2 days ago. It's the same, exactly the same subject, but taken from different angles. It's also important not to put your tripod down. and just take pictures, but walk around it. Mind your footsteps though, when there's snow or there's like hoarfrost or something. It will be gone if you step on it. So again, here you have the contrast between dark and light, also the silhouetting of the trees on the background. It makes things very interesting in my opinion. So that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me in the comments what you think are the most important things to look when outside in the forest. If you liked the video, please like it. And if you want to, you also can subscribe. Hope you enjoyed it and see you next time.